If you're not into Bitcoin, or if you're trading your Bitcoin, or if you're like these dipshits that are selling, you know, you got to pull your head out and look around.
I'm broke! I'm broke! I'm f***ing broke!
Have you been rug pulled after a sitting president shilled you a meme coin?
You rugged me! I have nothing! I have to sell my Rolex!
Have you been violated by VC firms and crypto influencers who use you for exit liquidity?
I have to sell all my shit! I don't have anything! I guess you pieces of shit! You rugged me! You all rugged me, bro!
HFSP Law Firm sees tragic cases like this every single day, and we have the tools at our disposal to help you. If you've been rugged, call 1-800 The Toxic Bitcoin Maximalists f***ing told you so. While HFSP Law Firm is not able to get back the money that you lost gambling on meme coins when you should have known better, we can offer you a free consultation to help prevent you from being such a dumbass in the future.
What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. It is great to see you all. I know it's been a while since I've made an update, and there are a few reasons for that, but it has been a very interesting few weeks in crypto. I know for a lot of people out there, definitely for me, one of the reasons is because I'm sure you've been paying attention to the news. I haven't really updated recently. It's just been, it's almost like a Twilight Zone moment. This is going to be a little bit of a different video, by the way, so you might want to stick around. I'm going to try to keep this one actually literally short for once maybe. But as far as the crypto space is concerned right now, it is very awkward. I was speaking to a friend in crypto who's been in crypto just as long as I have, and it's almost like a Twilight Zone moment. It feels like this is the most bearish bull market I have ever participated in, but not on behalf of Bitcoin. You know, you've seen these insane pump.fun meme coins coming out, right? You had the president of Argentina talking about the Libra token, which, you know, got wrecked, and then there's this guy Hayden, and he's sitting on $100 million, and it's all this crazy madness, and people are losing money, and it's just been like Memecoin Mania, right? And it is really interesting because the fundamentals and everything about Bitcoin could not be more bullish right now, but yet the sentiment is absolutely terrible. And there's a lot of factors that I think are potentially affecting this. Maybe a lot of new people thinking the price of Bitcoin is too high, it's going sideways, it's not moving, you know, the dream of, you know, 1,000x overnight. And it's really unfortunate because there's been a lot of people getting completely wrecked lately, and it's creating this sense of exhaustion, right? And you're seeing people leave the space, give up, on top of the fact that now you have FTX distributing the funds, or at least some of them, back to these people. Now, keep in mind, they're not getting it at today's prices. They're getting it at the price that whatever the coin was that they had was when FTX collapsed, right? Which means all of these people missed out on a lot of potential gains. Now, there is this theory that a lot of these people that are in, you know, getting their money back from FTX, they're going to just, you know, plow it into the altcoins. But unfortunately, there's also going to be some of those people that have been so unbelievably burned, they're probably just going to take the money and walk away. And this is creating a really strange sort of short-term environment for Bitcoin and crypto. So I want to go over a few things today. Like if we just hop into the charts and have a look at what's going on, yeah, you could see Bitcoin is pushing down. And of course, people are, you know, getting upset about it. But, you know, as I said, Bitcoin is still, for now, you know, in this sideways parallel channel. And, you know, of course, every time we get to the bottom, it gets a little bit scary. You know, you can get these wicks to the downside. You know, we do have a CME futures gap, you know, way down here. Are we going to hit that? You know, anything is a possibility. But for the most part, this is just typical consolidation, right? And I understand, you know, you could say, oh, it's an M pattern, it's a double top. You know, there's going to be all these theories about, you know, God forbid Bitcoin crashes. I mean, most of the people in crypto right now have not even truly experienced a real Bitcoin crash. I mean, Bitcoin falls 15 to 20%, and suddenly that's it. You know, it's the end of the world. The market's over. That's not the case at all. Bitcoin is notorious for these 30-40% dips, right? So I don't want to ramble on too much because, again, I did say I want to keep this video short, but, you know, just a little bit of a warning to everybody. Like, I really do not, I mean, you could do what you want. It's totally a free market. But, you know, if you want to actually gamble, right, on the altcoins, you know, a better solution is to just go on to something like Blowfin or Femex or BitGet or whatever. And, you know, using lower leverage, you can just play these areas. No, you're not going to get the 1,000x maybe, you know, but we know that down here, you know, these tend to be good areas to start accumulating longs. And if you want to short, you know, you can short above this area right now. So, you know, the lowest point is around 91 1,000. And, you know, if you do something with a 3x, you know, for example, LevX, they're doing a 10% cash back opportunity if you guys are interested. And, you know, people back in the day used to say like, oh, leverage trading is so dangerous. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, if you use a 100x leverage, but if you use it the way that the tool is designed to be used to either hedge or increase your position, you know, with these lower amounts, you can make the money safer, okay, than just blindly throwing everything into a meme coin. You don't know who owns it. You don't know who's going to snipe it, who's going to rug it, what's going on. And let's be honest, they have not had a very good track record lately. So if you want to gamble, not saying you should, dollar cost average, but you can go over to something like Blowfin. I do have 10% cash back, and they also have, I believe it's up to $4,000, you know, dollars. And you can also use a tool that actually helps you to trade like Meta Signals. And, you know, over here, they have their NFTs. You can actually get these signals directly to you, and you can trade. There's no perfect trade, but a lot more comfortably than, you know, literally staring at a screen all day, worried about when are they going to rug, if they're going to snipe, what's going on. You know, I'm just saying it's been madness lately. So let's just talk about the FTX beginning repaying their creditors. And again, like all that is below in the description. You guys know that. You know, obviously, it helps support the channel, but, software update? That's interesting. We don't need that right now. But anyway, guys, what I'm trying to say is it's been really, really weird with the sentiment, because I couldn't be more bullish on Bitcoin. I couldn't. And everything I just read on Twitter is just so much negativity. You know, I felt like I had to sort of make a video to pull everyone back in and say, hey, pump the brakes, guys, you know, chill. So obviously they're beginning to pay their creditors. Now, what's interesting is that they've already paid about 800 million, which is 35% so far. Now, this is going to extend out until April, May. It's not done just yet. But again, these are those weird, you know, the Mt. Gox tokens get released, the FTX payments come out, the Tether FUD. There's always some kind of narrative to make you doubt the market, to make you think that it's over. You know, it's not over by any means. I could show you endless amounts of charts, but, you know, there is an unfortunate, sad side effect of all of this that's happening right now. And the people that it's hurting the most are the average people. And we'll get into that, of course, why. But, you know, this right here is what I really wanted to make this video about. You know, Miles Deutscher points out, January just set a record for the most amount of tokens created in a single month, with over 600,000 new token launches. 600,000 tokens. 600,000 tokens came out in just the past month. That is astronomically insane. Okay, we thought it was nuts when there were 4,000 altcoins, a lot of them trying to build, you know, layer ones. You know, back in the day, it was like Neo or Icon. And then, of course, we have things like BNB Chain, Solana, even Arbitrum is not even doing that well. But, you know, they were at least trying to solve a problem. Now, if you're looking to potentially look into an altcoin sector, I'm not even going to shill any tokens. Real world assets are something that we've spoken about. And actually, if you look today, really the only sector that's doing well is RWAs. And I think that people are starting to understand that when you got guys like Larry Fink and BlackRock talking about tokenization of all these assets, you realize that there might be some better plays than, you know, ALTCOIN or, you know, whatever these weird tokens are that people are just throwing their money at. I mean, do what you want, but that's insane. You already know the fastest horse. You already know it's Bitcoin, right? Okay, Bitcoin is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a get-rich-slow scheme. But I'm going to show you why it makes a lot of sense to focus on Bitcoin. And of course, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, but, you know, look at this, guys. 74,698 traders lost 286 million just on Libra. This was wiped out in a mere minutes. And you know, you think people would learn their lesson. And I made this big post over on Twitter. 99% of these things are going to zero. This Mark Cuban coin came out randomly. I mean, look at this chart. You know, everybody's buying in. It's fine. It's going up. We're going to the moon. And then all it takes is that one insider, that one sniper to wreck everybody. And, you know, this isn't illegal, right? Because we don't have clear guidelines on things like this. And Hester Pierce is saying that the SEC isn't going to get involved and touch meme coins. So, you know, again, if you want to gamble with these types of things, have fun with them. But I've been in this for almost a decade, and I could tell you these things are going to zero. The majority of them are going to lose 90 to 90% of their value. The only difference is back when we used to, you know, play in the altcoin casino, you know, our tokens, coins, it would take them months to maybe a year or something to lose 97%. These coins are getting rugged in 15 minutes. It's not healthy. It is a sick obsession. And if anyone out there is watching, you know, I hope maybe you've done well. Maybe there is someone in the comments that made an amazing trade. And if you did, congratulations. But unfortunately, for the majority, they are going to lose. And I don't want you guys, especially my long-term viewers, to, I've seen guys that have wiped out their accounts. I know a couple OGs that have been in this space that I know that, I'm going to call them OGs, but, they've been around for at least 2 or 3 years, and they've wiped their accounts out because they got greedy. And what is it all for? What did you put in all that hard work and effort for, just to essentially lose it all in a trade? I mean, can you see the difference? Look at this coin. Look at this coin. Here's Bitcoin. Okay, can you see the difference in the charts right here, guys? Keep in mind, this is happening over weeks or days, whereas this is happening over years. Bitcoin, it is the fastest horse, although, like I said, it is a get rich slow scheme, right? But it does work. I hate to call it a scheme, but you understand point of view, just kind of saying that. And like Benjamin Cohen pointed out, I hate to say this, this is not my opinion. This is data. Altcoins have been in a bear market against Bitcoin for 3 straight years. So if you take any altcoin, you look at the dollar value, okay, maybe it did all right. Flip that and do the, Ethereum / Bitcoin pair. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like you have BTC USD, switch it to the Bitcoin pair, and I think you'll be quite surprised, And again, it's like, it's just that human emotion. But like I said, this was a big post, and I've already basically said everything on this video. I'm not going to repeat what I put over on, X, but I said there's a massive disconnect right now in crypto. Bitcoin literally hovering around the all-time highs, yet sentiment is absolutely terrible. And I think this has a lot to do with people getting burned out, people being exhausted from these meme coin casinos. At the meantime, you have nation states ready, sovereign wealth funds ready, strategic reserves in the pipeline, and yet sentiment is terrible. Now, I did include 4 charts I wanted to show you. This is inflows to accumulation addresses. You could see right here, massive amounts of accumulation while everyone else is panicking. Over here, we have retail, which is this purple, okay? And this is Bitcoin holdings versus large investor holdings, which is this sort of pink line right here. What are you noticing? Retail is dumping their Bitcoin, okay? They're dumping their Bitcoin for whatever reason, because it's too slow, it's too expensive, whatever, I don't know what the reason is, and they're buying into these meme coins, they're losing their ass, and in the meantime, the whales are accumulating. You can even see that right here, and these are not just old whales, these are also new whales. This represents the older whales, okay? These are people that have held for longer periods of time, respectively over a year, and you have these new whales coming in right here. What is all this? What is all this buying right here? This is new capital. And you might be saying to yourself, well, if all these people are buying, why is the price not going up? And again, guys, I said that this is a consolidation phase. Smart money knows not to pump the price immediately until they have filled their bags. This is all strategy, okay? Yes, you want your coin to go to $1 million, overnight, but these guys are not going to do that, right? They're going to wait. They're going to sell into strength and they're going to buy into weakness. That's just how the game works. That's how they accumulate. If they just, kept buying and pushing the price up forever, the price would get so far away from them that they would never be able to accumulate how much they want, And of course, it's not like some crazy group of insiders that are all collaborating together. Everybody pretends like it's like, oh, like it's some secret society. No, it's not. But there is a lot of smart money that is accumulating at these positions. And like I said, we haven't even seen the banana zone yet, We're sitting right here. Basically, you have these boring zones, they're called. They're sideways consolidations before these major moves. You could see this, 27% down, 2012. Look at that, sideways for a while, 38%, the boring zone, 20% in 2020, the boring zone, okay? That's what we're in right now. 27% down, hovering in this channel. It is literally the boring zone. That is what we are in right now. If I go back to my my Blowfin chart, where's my Blowfin chart? Right here. This is the boring zone. Okay? And we've been in these zones before. And don't get caught off sides. Bitcoin will do this. Bitcoin, look what it did last summer. It bounced between 60 and 70 for almost 8 months. Everybody got bored, right? Everybody started buying all these other coins. And then what happened? Bitcoin shoots up to 109 almost overnight. No one's expecting it. That's exactly how Bitcoin works. It does what you are least expecting it to do, right? And I just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of a longer term picture. I don't know, again, how old all my audience is. I don't know your age. But over the last 5 years, Bitcoin has a 55% CAGR, guys. So, if you look at the compound annual growth rate and you consider the fact that you have 55%, this was from, I think this was the Bitcoin podcast. If you break that down and you have the conviction to hold long enough, I know we all want to be rich by tomorrow, but buying just a little bit now It's insane where it could end up.
Bitcoin over the last 5 years has returned 55% CAGR. If you get a tenth of a Bitcoin right now, just sit on a tenth of a Bitcoin over, and you know, your audience, I'm sure, is not old farts like me. You're probably younger. Well, guess what? You go 20 years, that's $64 million. That's enough. It's plenty in today's purchasing power. Now, I don't know what it's going to be then. That's cuck bucks. It could be like 200 million. Who knows? Could be buying a cup of coffee. But in today's dollars and purchasing power, that tenth of a Bitcoin is $64 million. Just let it sit there. That's enough. But you know, you're going to struggle to come up with 100 grand when Bitcoin's $1 million a coin. And people that don't understand the train's leaving, anybody that's listening to this or watching it, you're making a bet right now. You're going to sit there, we're going to put the dial on 11, cook noodles, and you're going to be sitting there going, wonder what the fuck just happened? Because it's going to take off. The train is leaving the station. You're making a bet right now. If you're not into Bitcoin, or if you're trading your Bitcoin, or if you're like these dipshits that are selling, you know, you got to pull your head out and look around.
And I know everybody's tired about it, but these things take time, just like it took almost a decade. I think about a decade to get because Gemini, they were trying to get an ETF, I think back in like 2013. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It might be 14, 15. I don't know. Point being, they were trying to get this ETF passed for a long time, right? It took over basically a decade, right, to get this pushed through. Now, I don't think it's going to take that long for strategic reserves, but, you know, you have, you know, down here in Florida, lots of other states. Now, some of the bills have gotten rejected, but Senator Cruz, I want Texas to be the oasis for Bitcoin and crypto.
That is the reason I love it. I want it out of government control. I don't want federal bureaucrats having control over it. And I think you're seeing people responding to what's going to be a favorable regulatory environment. I want Texas to be the oasis for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency generally. And we are seeing miners and innovators from all over the world coming to Texas to invest and create new jobs when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto.
Which, by the way, guys, earlier today, there was, in fact, I'm not going to play this clip, but there was a Senate on U.S. Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. They're talking about this over in Texas. This is a real conversation that they're having. Obviously, this is only a bill that has been, you know, introduced. It's not official just yet, but the fact that they're having, you know, hour-and-a-half long conversations over Bitcoin Strategic Reserves on the state levels is absolutely incredible, guys. I don't think a lot of people realize exactly what's about to happen, not to mention the fact that, you know, a tailwind could also be these larger nations. Abu Dhabi has already come out and said that they have a sovereign wealth fund that's purchasing Bitcoin via the ETF products right now, okay? So it is one of those things where you get in crypto, you know, it's to the point where like these people are trading meme coins and like you're seeing tweets where it's like, oh man, I was 15 minutes too late. 15 minutes? Being late to an altcoin 15 minutes? And long-term holding is 24 to 48 hours? That is absolute madness. That is not investing. That is just gambling to the highest degree. And if that's what people want to do, if somebody watching wants to do that, then know what you're getting into, but don't label the whole space because of the experiences that you're having with these pump and dump schemes, because that's what they are. They're just pump and dumps. That's all they are. As long as you know that, that's fine. You know, you want to do 1%, 2%, that's fine. But these people going in with 200,000 or like they've been in crypto for years. They were able to turn 20,000 into 300,000. And then they just took it all and put it into one coin and lost everything overnight. That is not what I want for you guys. What I want is, you know, to look at the utility. I'm not saying just Bitcoin. I'm not trying to be a maxi, but I am saying you can't go wrong with Bitcoin. I look at Bitcoin as a long-term savings account. You take small percentages, you gamble, right? You take 1%, 2%, 3%. If 1% does 100x, well, guess what? Now it's the entire size of your portfolio. But if you take your whole portfolio and you put it all in and it doesn't do what you want, now you have nothing, okay? And that's just not cool. It's just, it's like weird. Like in one hand, I want to be like, well, you get what you get. But in the other hand, I actually genuinely feel terrible for some of these people who are following some of these influencers who are telling them that these are good ideas to do this. Because it's not a good idea. It's a very risky thing. And again, you know, I'm not trying to be overly preachy here. Another thing too, I just want to point out was I think you guys saw that Doge was looking to potentially audit Fort Knox, who apparently doesn't let anybody in to audit them. So it could either be because they don't have enough gold or they have more gold than they say they do. I don't know what is the real reason why they don't want it to be audited, but I do think that if they do open up the vault and find that there's not as much gold in there as they say there is, that is like the biggest advertisement for Bitcoin ever, because you don't have to audit Bitcoin. It's literally freely available on the blockchain for anybody to look at. You just go to any blockchain explorer and there it is, verifiable, right? You don't have to trust, you verify. So we'll see how that situation plays out. But, another thing that's interesting is, again, the whole idea about, oh, but I'm too late to Bitcoin, right? I'm too late to Bitcoin. I can't afford $100,000 Bitcoin. Well, I mean, that might be true for most people, but you can still buy into Bitcoin, dollar cost average, right? And I think there'll be dips along the way. There'll always be opportunities to buy. And, this was a great clip from the Bitcoin podcast about how, a 2 trillion market cap, even though you're saying, oh, I can't buy a full Bitcoin maybe. But, you got to get out of that sense of looking at the number. And if you look at the market cap, you realize how much potential it actually has.
Bitcoin's like a mirror for these reckless government spending programs. And monetary properties kind of allow it to do that, given its scarcity and its fixed supply and all these things that allows it to be really tied and correlated to the liquidity. And so I just think, and given how young it is and how it's still growing and it's still early in its adoption cycle, that's why there's so much potential opportunity, because not only do I feel like it's kind of built for these times and the value proposition is very strong, it's also very young. And so that allows it to have significant potential price appreciation as adoption continues to grow all around the globe. Because we mentioned the US a lot, but the US is like in a better position than all these other countries around the world. And so Bitcoin is needed even more so in these emerging markets with even more unstable fiscal situations and currencies. So yeah, I mean, obviously I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but I really think that it's kind of it's made for the times.
Obviously, there are multiple assets that can benefit. Bitcoin, I think we would generally agree, is like the best way to do it, because you get the absolute scarcity mixed with the fact that it's a young asset. If it was just looking at relative scarcity, we would say, okay, gold's growing by 1.5% a year, Bitcoin's growing at less than 1%, and long-term grows at 0. So should we expect Bitcoin to outperform gold by 1% a year? No, because we have a total adjustable market in mind for what Bitcoin could be, or at least a range, and we think that a $2 trillion market cap is so small relative to what it could reach. So in addition to merely protecting against debasement, which is kind of what gold's doing, it's actually growing into whatever it's going to become. So I think that's the bullish thesis. When I go back to Bitcoin, the main question I look at, okay, what are the monetary dynamics of the network? So we see the very low inflation rate and the hard cap and all that. Then the next question is it the best at what it does, and will it continue to capture market share in its like industry or even adjacent markets? And I view yes. So as long as I see nothing on the horizon that I view as disruptive to that trajectory, then I expect both from the scarcity dynamics and then the fact that it's the leading liquid, secure cryptocurrency, and then it's better than gold in many ways, it's better than the bond market in many ways. It's, as more people learn about it, the rational thing is for them, some subset of them, to want to buy it. That I generally view as, yes, that's structurally bullish for Bitcoin.
So I wanted to just end on some stuff to go over here. Again, people thinking that we're topped out. If you just look at one indicator that we've been using for a while, like Crypto Burb pointed out, cool guy. We've talked and hung out before. He points out the MVRZ score, and usually you got to get somewhere up, at least just close to this red line to show that maybe you're starting to get overheated, and we're only like right here, so we're like halfway to that line. So it really shows that, could the market end sooner than anticipated? Of course, but we still haven't seen that major blow off top yet, right? So just some super quick things to talk about. These are just some spider lines. I don't have much to go over. This is super simple stuff. I'm actually trying to dumb it down, get all the indicators off. Just look at it basically with your eyes. Like, what do you see? And, it's like you have this resistance, you have, it's acting as support, you have it as resistance, and then we come up here, this spider line connects, we get rejected. Not only do we have a sideways channel, but an upwards channel. Not surprised. We come down here and we retest that again, okay? So, could we end up you know, breaching this and falling, you know, coming down here. It's possible. But again, you know, look at this line. We had this line right here. We broke through it. Oh no, we're falling. It's an M. It's a double top. We're over. No, we're consolidating, guys. Look at this. Same thing, right? Oh no, it's an M. It's over. No, again, we're just consolidating. Now, of course, there is one thing that we have spoke about, and that is the potential of filling the CME futures gap. That's probably like my most bearish take on Bitcoin right now. My most bearish take is that we come down and we fill the CME futures gap at 78,000, right? We, you know, come down something like this, people are freaking out. We fill the gap, everyone gets faked out, and then we come back up again, right? And that would be a lower low and a lower high, and everybody would be saying to themselves, you know, it's over, and it's not, because we've seen these things time and time again on the charts. You know, in fact, back here, if you guys remember, you know, we had this buy signal, right? And if you look at the buy signal on the hash indicators, you know, a lot of them, like from this one, for example, before we even had a correction, that was 72. I know I'm going back in time. This buy signal right here, before we had a major correction, was about 82%. So, you know, from where we are right now, we got this right around this candle to the top. That was only about 55%. So these things show us that, you know, we are in these longer term patterns. And yes, you can dip into these areas on these major EMAs, but really we haven't even gotten below into the green area, which we've seen in, you know, some of these crazy up movements, you know, in the past. And that level would be around 68,000. So, and I know people would be saying if we went to 68,000, they would be saying that's over. They would be saying it's over. The market is done. Bitcoin is dead. And yet that would only be a 36% correction, which we've literally seen, I don't even know, probably 40, no, not 40, but I don't know, like 20 plus times in Bitcoin's history. And honestly, I don't even know if we'll get stuff like that anymore, simply because of all of the, you know, ETFs and institutional interest. And another thing to point out is that the dollar, you know, broke out of this descending wedge, which is technically a bullish pattern, but what ended up happening was it got rejected here at a lower low. So if you see the DXY, you know, start to break down below 104, this is going to be risk on asset time. And I do believe a lot of that is going to flow into Bitcoin. And you want to end on a super simple chart. Shout out to Tech Dev. If you just simply look over here, okay, at this liquidity cycle correlation, what do you guys notice? Look at where we are basically right now. We're basically at the bottom of this blue, okay? Where does that correlate? It's usually somewhere in the middle of the cycle, right? Usually right here in the middle, okay? Right here in the middle. So we are right somewhere in the middle, potentially moving to the second half, okay? I believe that we are, you know, we are now moving towards the end of the bull. But remember, the last part of the bull is the craziest part. Okay, so again, I just want to reiterate, everyone be safe out there. You know, if you do want to trade, you know, on leverage or something like that, you know, you can always go to something, like I said, like Blowfin or, you know, Femex's non-KYC. And if you really have the urge to gamble, you know, just do something lower leverage. You know, if you use a 3x leverage, okay, for example, that's 33% for every 1 for 33. So basically, if you're Bitcoin would have to fall 33% to get liquidated. Well, Bitcoin's already down about 13%. I don't think we're going to a 45+% correction, okay? Obviously, you have to be safe out there, but, you know, there are other ways that you can hedge and make money. It may not be 100x overnight, but it's also not going to be a lose all your money overnight thing either. And again, guys, if you do want to learn how to trade, I do have these tutorials popping up right here. For the most part, if you can trade on one exchange, you can trade on the other, or you can just dollar cost average. But had to make this video today. Still a little longer, but shorter. At least it's not a 40-minute video. But anyway, guys, I love you. You're awesome. I just had to make this sort of ranty-ish video. Just be safe out there. You know, Bitcoin is going to 1 million. It's going to probably 13 million in our life. Who knows? But definitely 1 million. So until next time, guys, I love you. Stay crypto. And, of course, peace out.